thank you for tracking this data for us. Let's talk about Gauteng. We know that the health system is under pressure. It looks like things are going to get worse.
Yeah, that's right. That's what the experts are saying, Clement. And important to note that a member of the Premier's Advisory Committee actually said this morning that they're going to look again at their models to take into account the Delta variant. So that could up the numbers in terms of hospital admissions even further. But let's take a quick look at the so-called red zone. If you're wondering what the red zone is, that's when hospitals are facing intense amounts of pressure, taking a lot of strain because of the spike in admissions. Let's first of all start with Gauteng, just to give you a sense of what the Department of Health has been looking at. What you're looking at here, Clement, are various bands of pressure. So yellow, relatively okay in terms of the hospital capacity. Orange, it's getting a bit more difficult to handle the surge in patients. And red is almost overwhelming. A lot of people and a lot of healthcare workers would take strain in that particular scenario. And what you're seeing there, Clement, the two black bars, that's the end of June and the beginning of July. Those are the forecasts from the Department of Health. And as you can see, Clement, breaching that red zone, skyrocketing potentially to 15,000 hospital admissions in a single week. It absolutely sounds like a disastrous scenario. Now let's take a quick look at how we got here, Clement. What we're going to look at here is a heat map. When you see red, that's a positivity rate above 30%. Orange, we're talking 20 to 30%. And that lighter shade of orange, 15 to 20%. We're looking at the first 3 weeks of June here. And take a look at how the colors start to change. We're seeing a lot of orange in that second map and a lot of red on the western side of the province. And then ultimately, Clement, that third map right there is essentially red across the board. That basically is the week of the 19th of June, round about that period in June. And as you can see, positivity rates above 30%. The rest of the country has basically been at around about 24, 25%. Gauteng has breached that 30% mark. And speaking of the rest of the country, let's take a look at our heat map for South Africa. Again, the same principle applies. Whenever you see those oranges and those dark reds, big areas of concern, Clement. And what's interesting here is almost the spine of South Africa, going southwest from Gauteng through the Northern Cape, parts of the Free State as well, the northwest. Most of that, Clement, has gone orange or a dark shade of orange, and that will be a big concern. As you can see right there, most of the East Coast seems in fairly good shape. But the experts warning, Clement, that could change very, very quickly. That green light on the robot could instantly go red.
Yeah, so it's not just the cities, Michael, that are feeling the pressure. There are other parts of the country, particularly rural areas, that are also facing the pressure.
Well, you've been talking about this with guests over the past few weeks as well. Let's concentrate on a couple of the other provinces which are actually technically in a third wave. Looking again, Clement, at those hospital admissions. Let's look at the Northern Cape first of all. Take a look at those numbers. Actually, they breached that red zone around about 5 weeks ago, Clement. You can see those bars going into the red band at the top there. But again, the forecast for the end of June and the beginning of next month, once again in the red zone. So the Northern Cape hospitals and clinics potentially facing a very difficult time over the next couple of days and weeks. And finally, I want to wrap up, Clement, with the Northwest. This is a province that we don't talk about very much, but possibly a lot of pressure on that system as well. You can see right there, we're looking at about 1,000 weekly hospital admissions in the Northwest at the beginning of next month, Clement. So a lot of concern around those provinces which are adjacent or close to Gauteng. Potentially, Clement, that's why the experts imposed the lockdown when it comes to those travel restrictions, trying to cut off Gauteng as much as possible because we are seeing a lot of infections in the provinces around us.
All right, Michael Marillier, thank you so much for tracking that data for us.